So we've got 2 hosts and 2 guests with technical difficulties. I guess that about sums up the show already. Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Lords of the Night. With me, as always, is the Lord of Pennies, Satsu 2 cents.
What up, Dale?
And joining us tonight, ostensibly, we have, here we go, Gamer Valine and Dexter.
Hello.
Hello.
Okay, we got to wait for somebody's gain to adjust or something.
That'd probably be gain.
No.
Hello.
No, it's Dexter.
Is it? Okay.
Yeah, you got a lot of hissing going on in the background, Dex.
If you just leave yourself unmuted for a second, it usually.
Yeah, just wait a minute. Hopefully the gain will adjust.
Okay.
All right.
Okay, well, at least the popping's not happening anymore. Yeah, you're fine. Okay. Yes, everyone, it's been an adventure in sound checks for the last 10-15 minutes or so. So
Ain't it grand?
Please bear with us while we get to that stuff. Yeah, it's not going away. Thank you, Attack Alpaca, for the #1 Dogcat Fox. Oh, Dogcat Fox.
Wowie, wow, wow.
Yay, Dogcat Fox. Yeah, I don't know, dude. There's just a constant hissing in the background. I don't know if you turn your gain down maybe a bit.
Yep. I'll give that a shot.
Okay. Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining us tonight. Hope you're all doing well today on this Tuesday. Hope you all enjoyed the thumbnail. I put a lot of work into that, and thought it turned out all right. But all that being said, Satsu, how are you doing?
Pretty good. Just been chilling out, relaxing, hanging out with the family. Aaliyah her mom bought her a ball pit that she was supposed to give her for her birthday, but she, can't wait.
Of course,
as usual when it comes to presents. So she let her play with it, and I don't know what it did to my child, but it drove her kind of mad. Because I truly believe that my kid might have OCD.
Uh-oh.
And she has like this thing where she like takes items and puts them in like organizes them, and she'll stack them up or she'll line them up or whatever. But this time there was way more items than she was prepared to handle. And it like stressed her out. Like she was like freaking. Overloaded. I'm like, oh God. Yeah. I'm just like, oh. I'm like, what is wrong? She's like, I'm not sure. There's a lot of stuff. I don't think I could do all this. I'm like, oh crap. So yeah, I don't know about that one. But
real quick, thank you, tall person. Happy National Vanilla Custard Day.
Close.
What's last time I had vanilla custard? Yeah, I got to see little Squeetus a little bit before the show started because she was on camera and I saw her with her pretty hair and she was handing her dad money and taking it away again and being a cutie pie.
Yeah, she's adorable. Although she's not quite little Squeetus anymore.
She's grown quite a bit. Holy cow.
She's a big girl.
And joining us as well, Gamer Valine.
Hello.
How are you?
I am good. Had to kick my dog out of the office because he was.
You kicked your dog?
No.
Oh.
All right. I evicted him from my office.
Okay. There's a moratorium on that right now.
Yeah, I don't care.
Oh wow. Okay then.
I do what I want.
Oh my God. Did I don't recall. You'll forgive me. Did we give you? We must have given you a lord name at some point.
Pasta, but given yesterday, I would also go by planes. That would be acceptable for specific purpose of current events.
Wow, your sound keeps fading in and out now. But it just sound problem day today on the show.
Oh, can you hear me now?
No, yeah, I can hear you. It's just that you're as you're talking, it just faded in and out. It was like
it was like your gain was going up and down.
Yeah.
No, what I was saying was I was the Lord of Pasta.
Right. Okay.
And based on current events, I would also accept Lord of Paint or Lord of Plains, but I think that would be moot point now.
Lord of Plains, yeah, probably. Thank you, Shoehorn Aplenty, for the bowing Dogcat Fox the bone, giving me a bone. I don't want Dogcat Fox's bone.
Bowie wow wow.
I've heard that's a dangerous thing. The what now?
I said Bowie wow wow.
No.
Wow. Wow wow.
That's how that works.
Okay.
Yeah. Let's see, and I guess we'll wait for Dexter to try again with his mic and see if everything's going okay. But yeah, we got lots of news, guys, if you can believe it, because there's been nothing going on in the world, obviously.
Of course not.
Of course not. Not after yesterday and all the fallout thereof. But Monkey Dick, Jim Jones, movies, video games, hit that like button if you have not already. And please share our stuff. Share it far, wide, sideways, and otherwise. If there's a content creator out there that you happen to appreciate, whether it's us or somebody else, please be sure to let people know that you like their stuff, because YouTube does a very poor job of it. Even though Satsu tells me that we had somebody tell us on the chat last night that YouTube recommended the Lords of the Night to them.
Yeah, they popped in the stream last night. I don't know if you guys saw it, but it was like, YouTube recommended this stream to me. I hope it's good. And I'm just like, oh, well.
Yeah, like, what? And we lost Dex, but hopefully he'll be back shortly. Well, while we wait for that, let's get right into the snooze. Oh, hold on a second here. I got too many windows open. Let's get that up and then get him in here. And are you with us now, Dex?
Can you hear me?
You're very, very quiet. Let's see. Can I turn you up here? Say something again.
Something again.
It's very, very faint.
Hold on.
Yeah, you can't even hear you. Oh boy. Live TV, everybody.
Live TV.
Live television, the joys and the pitfalls. Let's see. So CNN Opinion wants us to know that the buck stops with Biden, but Trump's role in Afghanistan debacle is a doozy.
See, this was what, look, we talked about this yesterday. I told you, the media is going to run interference as much as they can, even though Biden came out and said, you know, after complaining and blaming everybody else that the buck stops with him. Now the media is like, damn it, I wish he wouldn't have said that. It's harder to defend him now. But since he said it, let's still try to, you know, divide the blame as much as we can, because it can't just be his fault.
Thank you, Sean Uli. Bad news today. Satsu has Streamlabs. That's bad news? Or
it's good news for me, but I'm assuming that he's delivering bad news.
Oh, okay. Well, let's take care of that first then.
Hold on.
Okay. Yeah, between bringing up Trump today was also equating the Republicans with the Taliban. I saw all over the place.
Well, it's not just that. It's the fact that they've had 24 hours after the shock value of a relatively short news update cycle went through to figure out how to spin it.
Yeah, it's very weak sauce as far as spinning it.
Well, it's low IQ standards. They needed the extra time to think.
So after close examination, my PET scan shows many lymph nodes along my neck need removed. In September, I'm going to need extensive surgery, days in the ICU, and a long recovery.
Oh, no. I'm so sorry, Sean. Well, fingers crossed everything turns out okay, but it's you'll get through it. You survived 2 rounds already. You're tough.
You got this, Sean.
Yeah. Well, let's see anyway. What does CNN want us to know about Trump's role in Biden's presidency? Before that, though, thank you, Andrew Joyner, for the fist bumpings. The yellow and the orange fist bumpings, which is kind of appropriate because I think that's Bert and Ernie. I'll just say Bert and Ernie's fist bumping each other, amongst other things. Thank you, Andrew Joyner. Look at this. Lowercase t, capital T.
They fucked up on the first word.
The first word.
And this is proof. This is proof right here that they are fucking rushing to get these these cover stories out, these making apologetics and trying to spin the narrative and see if they can. Yeah, they're rushing to do this.
Well, it's not just that. I'd like to note that the fact that the editor has set eyes on this, because there's an editor's note right above it.
Yeah. Dex, try again.
It's better to be first than to be right.
Yeah, you're about 2 miles in the distance as far as sound, dude. I'm sorry.
Slightly louder than before, but still.
Okay.
Loud.
No, wait. Okay.
Oh, wait, hold up.
Now you're fine. Whatever you did, don't do anything else.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, you're good now.
We'll leave it for the time being, unless something crazy happens. Okay. So just
okay. But yeah, what I was saying is that it's better to be first than to be right.
Okay. There's a little bit of an echo. I don't know if anybody here can handle that, but just otherwise leave it alone, and we'll worry about it later.
Great.
Okay. Sean Uli also has a birthday today. You got bad news on his birthday, but hey, still your birthday. So around here, I do this, and a 1 and a 2.
How you just jump into it like that? Jesus Christ.
Is Marky still alive?
I guess.
Happy birthday, Sean Uli.
You sound like a donkey with Tourette's.
Happy birthday. Happy birthday,
Beautiful.
I always try to be melodious.
I need that for later for a car horn.
Yeah, if somebody wants to clip that and use that for their ringtone, by all means. To the collapse of the Afghan government and the blindingly fast recapture of the country by the Taliban is a calamity for the Afghan people. This is what needs to remain at the forefront above any other consideration of what is occurring.
Yeah,
that's a calamity for the Afghan people. Okay, I'll grant you that. Instead, the laying of blame, and the squirming away from responsibility has quickly begun, you don't say. It has swelled in tandem with the tide of the Taliban's rout of Kabul and the rush of desperate, anguished Afghans trying to flee their darkening future. There is no question that much of the fault... Sorry, the buck stops with who again? There's no question that much of the fault lies with President Joe Biden. He made the final decision to withdraw. Okay, let us, one more time from last night, let us recall that there are separate issues here. The decision simply to withdraw is not inherently a bad one. It was the how it was done that is the issue. People are like saying, oh, he was right to withdraw and pull us out. No. I won't argue with that. But it was the how. It was not the action. It was how it was done. That people keep trying to, like, it's an easy dodge to conflate these things together.
They can't divide the blame in this situation. There was one person responsible for making the call. There was one person. Nobody was there. I mean, outside of his advisors and shit, Trump wasn't in that room like, yeah, well, I think you should do it.
Just wait. He made the final decision to withdraw. He chose to abide by a disastrous agreement crafted under the previous administration. No, he didn't.
No, he didn't.
He did not.
Serious?
May 1st. Okay. And by the way, if anything Trump did was somehow ironclad and Biden could not get out of it, and he was somehow legally bound to do, then why did May 1st come and go without any withdrawal? Nothing about what Trump promised was under any obligation by Biden to adhere to, and he did not. And the withdrawal was his plan at his discretion and at his direction. Stop trying to blame Trump. Whatever Trump did, Biden was not under any prerequisite to adhere to after he became president. This wasn't even if it was an executive order, Biden is the executive. This is ridiculous. Biden could have waited until 2023 to withdraw if he wanted to. He was not under any obligation. Stop doing that. It's a lie. If Trump's plan was bad, if people want to say in retrospect Trump's plan was terrible, hey, I might be right there with you. You know, the amount of time between this and him negotiating with the Taliban and everything else, I bet there were a whole bunch of pitfalls in that thing, and it was a terrible plan. I will stipulate to that personally. Fine. Trump's plan was terrible. This was Biden's withdrawal and Biden's command. Stop it. Anybody believing this is just, it's nonsense.
Well, the press secretary for the Department of Defense said that portion and kind of let the cat out of the bag. That article I didn't send you because it was too long. Because they basically consolidated live news events as they were happening. But he essentially said, well, we can advise him, but he's the commander-in-chief, so we're just here to execute.
Yeah. Okay. He chose to abide by a disastrous agreement crafted under the previous administration. No, he didn't. Moved the troops out with obviously poor planning for contingencies. No, wait. Poor planning for contingencies? They planned for every contingency.
This is what I'm talking about. He literally said that they planned for every contingency.
Well, Satsu, you know, you have to listen to what he says, and then you have to kind of know what he means. I mean, getting a vaccine will make sure you don't die, but that's, you know, it's not really what he means. And is the president under whose watch the 2-decade war ended in a humiliating rush for exits for the U.S. and NATO as the previous regime took control.
They can't even look. As far as the decision goes, yes, that decision was rushed, but the exit, no, they had 7 months.
Yeah,
they had 7 months. There was no rush about that.
But many of those suggesting it is all Biden's doing would do well to keep quiet unless they want to also speak out to acknowledge their own responsibility, their own guilt. Do tell, no one is surprised that former President Donald Trump was quick with hyperbole designed to deflect from his role here, as he suggested in a statement that Biden should resign. And it was easy to anticipate that Trump's boastful former Secretary of State, Mike Pompeo, who had delusions about the Taliban turning into an anti-Al-Qaeda force, couldn't resist gloating, claiming things would be different if the former administration were still in office. Well, you know what?
That has nothing to do with this.
That is exactly. It has absolutely nothing to do with it.
Nothing. At all.
Yeah, Mike Pompeo was not the Secretary of State when we withdrew.
Yeah.
Donald Trump was not the President of the United States when we withdrew. And also, again, May 1st came and went. In truth, Trump and his team helped set the stage for this disaster. No.
Oh, my God. Fucking.
Good Lord. Again, the events of recent days where Biden showed. Okay, you cannot hold these two thoughts in your head at the same time and have any credibility. This is insane. It's like I'm reading schizophrenia.
Yeah, dude. I am like, my brain is like short-circuiting right
now. Okay. He cannot shift blame on Trump. Well, no. Why should he when he already did? Did you listen to him? Did you listen to his speech? He blamed Trump.
Yeah, even if he didn't, you are doing it for him right now.
But this failure is in no small part the result of Trump and his crew's actions. Okay, all right. You know what? Fine. Tell me how. Tell me how Trump and Pompeo, from a distance, puppeteered the last 7 months leading up to what happened in the last 96 hours or so. Do tell.
The only thing I can see is with them running cover like this so much is because these are people that think Dark Ages style. It's like a blood pact, shake on it kind of deal. That Biden had to be held to his word because the U.S. had already been committed to this. That is literally the only way you could do that. If we didn't leave soon, they were going to start hostilities against the remaining troops, of which they outnumbered greatly.
That still doesn't explain not having a fucking plan.
Exactly. No, it doesn't. It doesn't explain not having. You're correct. It doesn't explain not having a plan, but it's just saying the pressure to get it done was already present when he took office because we had already been committed to it.
Yeah,
through talks and negotiations.
I think that makes the situation worse. Like, if that's the argument that they're going to make, it makes them look worse. Because if the pressure was on the moment you got in office, then it makes you look even worse for not doing anything.
Well, no, the pressure can't be on because he campaigned on withdrawing us from Afghanistan,
right?
And it was his. It wasn't like Biden was campaigning and saying, no, we need to stay the course in Afghanistan. Then Trump said, screw you. I'm going to set us on a course where we're going to, and there are going to be expectations you have to adhere to. And then Biden's like, well, crap, I guess I have to. No, he campaigned on withdrawing from Afghanistan. He pushed past the May 1st deadline that Trump set. He could have done at any time. He could have done it. He could have done it on June 1st. He could have done it on January 1st, 2023. He wasn't he wasn't held to this. He wasn't shackled to any of this. It was his decision. Now, what I want to hear from our author here, okay, her argument, Trump had a hand in what happened in the last several days. Okay, tell me how. Also sharing the blame are the two prior presidents. No. The events of the last week and the last several months leading up to it are only one man's responsibility.
Actually, no. Obama does have a direct tie to this. He actually does. And we need a refund on Bergdahl. Because the guy who was sitting in the center of that table when the Taliban did their press conference, he was one of the 5 we traded for the fucking dude who abandoned his post.
Unless you're going to tell me they could have known back then that he was going to become a significant figure now. Well, what does that mean? I mean...
Look, we traded known Taliban leaders
you think,
for a deserter.
You think there wouldn't be like 17 guys ready to take that guy's place if we hadn't traded him over?
But we traded him with zero impunity. We traded them with no conditions. We just went, okay, here you go, because we want this one dude. Fine.
But the Taliban's bigger than one guy. I mean, okay, in retrospect, this guy got into a position of power that he wouldn't have otherwise. But
he was already there.
Yeah, but I bet you that anybody would be in that guy's chair right now if we hadn't. I don't think the forces involved here would have changed all that much, whether he was there or if he was still under our custody or something. The Taliban's bigger than that one guy.
Yeah, but if he was already there and had a sect that was highly organized under him, he was just basically welcomed back to his position as a hero. Yeah. Whereas they would have still stayed as small, chaotic forces that were sacking small towns versus large cities.
I still think that's applying retroactive knowledge to something that even Obama couldn't possibly have known. And ultimately, whoever was in the main chair for the Taliban at this point, it was still Biden's decision to do this, and it would have happened the same way.
Well, I guess the one thing I should clarify, because maybe sometimes I feel like when this is being discussed, there's two different things being talked about. If they're talking about just the overall effect that every given president has had over time with the decisions that they've made in regards to either getting people back or not or whatever, then sure, you can say that everybody who was involved in this situation, can take maybe just a little bit of blame, but that's not what we're talking about. We're talking about the situation, the evacuation that basically failed, and that one person, was responsible for. And that's the thing that I'm focusing on, because that's the thing that's happening right now, because that direct decision is going to be the result, is going to be the consequences for whatever comes next. So, fuck all the other shit. Like, you can talk about the past or whatever, but they ain't got nothing to do with now.
Yeah.
Then if you want to go back to it further, the other thing that was done was after we got bin Laden, we basically wrote them a bunch of checks and said, here, buy weaponry. Well, they stashed it in buildings that weren't secure. So they basically armed the Taliban by just keeping their weapons in unsecure locations.
Well, looking back dilutes the responsibility of Biden now.
No, no, I'm not trying to, and that's the thing, I'm not trying to dilute it. I'm just saying we went into an area, we tried to train up their forces. Biden, yes, pulling out was terrible, but he was the vice president when they decided, we're going to spend more time here, train up their forces for 10 years because bin Laden was killed in 2011. So it's been 10 years since that dude was killed. Not even in Afghanistan, in Pakistan. Yeah. And we stayed there to train them. And they still threw down their arms when the Taliban marched in. Well, that was put into motion long before Trump even ran.
They didn't throw down their... Okay, it's more complicated than that. We withdrew all support from them and they'd been fighting for the last 20 years alongside our troops and dying in higher numbers than our own troops. And when we pulled out and didn't give them support, and they didn't have money, they didn't have any way to defend themselves against the Taliban rolling through. This whole thing.
We gave them $2 billion to buy weapons. They weren't entirely defenseless, and we had 10 years where our sole objective there was training their military.
When they don't have fuel, when they don't have money to live on, when their families are under threat, and there's no organization because we've removed the support from the government, we just kind of pulled out, no air support. The whole thing was set up to fail, even with the people that we trained up the whole time. Yeah, so it was inevitable anyway. I mean, all their models said that even in the best case scenario, Kabul would have fallen within months of us leaving regardless, which is kind of a ridiculous thing to begin with. The fact that they didn't see it coming as quickly as they did is such a failure of the intelligence establishment.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, just beyond words. But like I said in the tweet the other day, the fall of Kabul or the takeover by the Taliban once we left was an inevitability. The amount of time it took to happen was up in the air. And certainly this whole thing did not need to become the humanitarian disaster that it was and is already because of the way Biden is pulling out the troops and then thinking about pulling out the civilians and the people that allied with us. So yeah, the decision to remain in Afghanistan all these years, yeah, every president has their own responsibility for that. But this is the job Biden wanted. He knew what the situation was going into it. I'm really twitchy on like trying to lay the blame on past presidents for the decisions made by this administration is all.
I'm not, because I was in the military when we were doing half this shit. So
I'm still waiting. I want to see what our author says is Trump's hand in this. Just as the Afghan campaign shifted from seeking to uproot al-Qaeda to trying to remake the country, a much more ambitious goal, Washington's attention waned. Barack Obama, for his part, tried to have it both ways. He wanted out, but he didn't want to be seen to lose, so he sent more troops while simultaneously, counterproductively, announcing the deadline, later rescinded, for their withdrawal. And I mean, to Biden's credit, quote unquote, on that point, he's at least in his own speech distanced himself from that decision, even though he was vice president at the time. But since Trump is so vocal about Biden's failing, we must look at his role in this tragedy, and it's a doozy. Okay, tell me. Trump came to office promising to end the war. Okay, so did Biden. In characteristic fashion, he acted so impulsively and with such lack of discipline that he single-handedly undercut the so-called peace negotiations in Doha, Qatar, between the Taliban and the United States that concluded last year. Okay, I don't remember this part, so more on that in a moment, okay? But first, let's note that the man leading the current Taliban offensive, Mullah Abdul Ghani Baradar, the jihadi cleric who may become the next president of Afghanistan, or formerly the emir of the Islamic Emirate of Afghanistan, was being held in Pakistani, okay, and might still be there were it not for Trump.
Okay.
In 2018, the Trump team asked Pakistan to free Baradar so he could travel to Doha for talks. I thought the guy running the thing was an Obama release. I'm confused. In Trump's eyes, Baradar may have looked a bit like North Korea's Kim Jong-un, the leader he could try to sweet talk and coax, showering him with praise while extracting essentially nothing from him, while drawing attention to himself and his theatrical boldness. In 2019, Trump wanted to bring Taliban to Camp David, and he wanted to do it just in time for the anniversary of the 9/11 attacks. His advisors persuaded him that bringing the leaders of a group responsible for killing thousands, including thousands of Americans, and still engaged in regular attacks against Afghan civilians was not the best of ideas. And
good on those advisors.
Yes, I agreed then that I recall. Trump relentlessly, cluelessly sabotaged peace talks, proclaiming his determination to pull out and unexpectedly announcing troop reductions. His tweets became a major obstacle.
His tweets
became a major obstacle to negotiations as he declared he was withdrawing U.S. forces, the only leverage of U.S. negotiators, without obtaining any real concessions from the Taliban. In February 2020, Trump unveiled an agreement with the Taliban. The deal was an utter embarrassment, one of the worst ever negotiated by an American president. Under its terms, the United States not only agreed to withdraw by May 2021, it also committed itself to obtaining the release of 5,000 Taliban prisoners and another 1,000 in subsequent months, fortifying the Taliban's fighting force. The U.S. also promised to help lift all international sanctions against the Taliban. In exchange, the Taliban promised not to attack Americans until they left and agreed to start talks with the Afghan government. Okay, well, half of that stuff has already happened regardless.
Yeah,
like
all those deadlines passed.
Well, so May first off, May passed, and Biden's decision to do it the way that he did it, I just watched video of the prisons being emptied of all its prisoners because there was nobody there, and the officials either gave up or were overrun. And then promised not to attack Americans until they left. Well, we just heard that the other day, that was the thing. It's like, oh no, we're not going to, or hearing our government pleading with the Taliban to leave us alone until we were gone. The supposed negotiation with Afghan representatives went nowhere, but the Americans started leaving. Trump kept tweeting he was pulling out the troops, removing any incentive for the Taliban to compromise. Okay, Afghan civilians were not fooled by Trump's so-called peace deal. Watching the signing, 28-year-old activist Zahra Hussaini told AFP, quote, "Today is a dark day. I had this bad feeling that it would result in the Taliban's return to power rather than peace," unquote. She was right, but Trump was excited. In one embarrassing moment, Trump phoned Mullah Baradar. He had a, quote, "very good talk with the Taliban leader," he crowed. Quote, "The relationship is very good that I have with the mullah," unquote. Later he said, quote, "They want to cease violence," unquote. Observers sighed in despair. Just the day before, the Taliban had launched dozens of attacks. The Taliban was already taking advantage of Trump's terrible deal. Biden didn't have to stick with Trump's agreement. You're right.
He didn't.
And he didn't. The Taliban certainly hadn't kept their end. You're right. And he didn't have to. It's not only Trump who shares blame. Biden made the wrong decision, but he relied on flawed intelligence analysis. Well, if you're going to try... Okay, hold on. Before we get back into that again, there's another birthday in the chat. The daughter of Viror of Ashmedai. So, Princess of Ashmedai, it is your birthday. So, in that case, oh wait, Thanksgiving, 7 pounds, 5 ounces. Oh, it's a widow baby. A widow baby? Okay. Princess of Ashmedai, it's a welcome to the world. And around here, when that happens, I do this. And a 1, and a 2. Happy birthday to you.
Congratulations.
Yep. Happy birthday to you.
Enjoy your first few years. It's going to get rough.
Happy birthday, dear Phoebe.
Phoebe, that's adorable.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, Phoebe. Welcome to the world.
Happy birthday.
Enjoy being a baby. Being a baby's cool.
All downhill from there.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
It's not only Trump who shares blame. Biden made the wrong decision, but he relied on flawed intelligence analysis. Well, you don't really know that until after the fact, don't you? Less than 2 months ago, a U.S. intelligence assessment predicted the Taliban would take over in some 6 months after U.S. withdrawal. Yeah, no, this is decidedly a failure in U.S. intelligence if they were advising that they had more time. The problem is that the order of operations was completely backwards. You take the civilians and allies out first, and then you remove the troops, not the other way around. So even if you'd waited 6 months or something, the whole thing would have fallen apart anyway. And incensed American voters angry at Biden should take a look in the mirror. Yes, Biden failed here, but he had strong support from the American public from both parties, eager to get troops out of Afghanistan. No. Stop conflating these two things. Us getting out of Afghanistan is not the same as how we left. These are two different things. The desire to stop being involved in that war is different than Biden's plan for getting us out.
Well, this is so fucking stupid. Like,
God damn it.
It's like, okay, we don't like that liquor store down at the corner of our street. We need it gone. Governor, you should do something about it. All right, I'm going to do something about it. So he gets like 12,000 tons of TNT and blows the entire block up. All right, it's gone. And they're just like, well, you guys need to look at yourselves and figure out why it's your fault that he did that. Like, fuck you. Are you serious? We didn't think that he would fucking blow it up. What a fucking that is the stupidest fucking logic ever.
They're going to continue to conflate these two things, that the decision to leave is the same as Biden's effort to do so. It's not.
So Biden blamed Afghanistan and he blamed Trump. And then the media's like, no, it's your fault, people at home.
You seem surprised.
Well, no, it's also his posts on Twitter that are apparently his fault. But it's hilarious how they're all willing to pass this blame, because here's the quote. I found what I was looking for. End quote. The commander-in-chief is the commander-in-chief. It's not about overruling his military leaders or other advisors, Kirby said. The president made his decision, and now we're in execution mode, George. That's the way it works. Yep.
The chiefs don't act on their own accord. That's why we have the president there. Even women's rights activists anguished about what the Taliban hold has in store for the women of Afghanistan. Oh, didn't you hear that the Taliban are saying they're going to have an inclusive and diverse government, and they will grant women rights that fall within Sharia law.
So,
and I'm not making that up. That was essentially the statement, is like, women will have rights as long as they are within the framework of Sharia law. Like,
so no rights then. Okay.
This is
pretty much.
This is the same group that became a training exercise when we were training their military. They would go in and behead the teachers of schools that were educating women, and we would go into these small towns and wipe them out. Those were the training exercises in Afghanistan. That is how we were training their military. We would go in and kill all the people that were kill all the killers of educators.
Mm-hmm.
It's craziness.
So we will not, should not deny that the current president failed. But the blame goes beyond this administration, beyond the White House, and it falls on many of the same people pointing fingers, hoping to escape the judgment of history over the immense suffering that the Afghan people now face. This moral stain and its long-term consequences is on America. On that point, I don't disagree, because as representative and as the overall force in representing America to the world, Joe Biden has placed this failure on this country. Our allies, especially the small ones like in Crimea and Taiwan, it doesn't mean anything when America comes into a country and says, you help us and we will take care of you. That promise means nothing anymore. Just like it didn't mean anything after we left Iraq in the first Gulf War and the Kurds were left fending for themselves. And so, same now. If we want to go all the way back to Vietnam and our allies in Vietnam that we just kind of left behind. Yeah.
You know what, though? Yeah. I just realized that the only reason that this is really fucking pissing me off is because since Biden got into office, we've had to see the media run full-on interference for everything he's done.
Yeah.
To be honest, if the media was fair and balanced and had been, just kind of going through this how they normally would or whatever, I probably wouldn't have a problem with this article at all. I'd be like, yeah, that's fair to say that, we can't just lay the blame here or whatever, because it would make more sense. But in this climate that we've had all the way up until this point, no, I'm sorry. I just can't accept that. I'm sorry. It's unreasonable, and I don't care.
I am extremely frustrated with this, because yes, we can, in a way, we can compare it to the Kurds, but we didn't leave 5,000 military members on the ground after leaving the Gulf to fend for themselves until the military planes could get them out.
Mm-hmm.
Whenever you leave a unit and they start to feel abandoned, and the State Department is pushing that way, where it's like, oh, well, we can't guarantee evacuations of Americans after X date, and they refuse to comment on it and things like that. What you are doing, and has been done since the Alexander the Great, is when you leave a unit where they have been abandoned by their leaders, war crimes happen.
Mm-hmm.
You've got a bunch of armed, trained military there. And if they feel abandoned by their leaders and the Taliban decides to make any types of moves, war crimes are going to happen. That's the thing. Because Alexander the Great, he made promises to his people that he would start heading home. He decided to divert. The dude was likely killed by poisoning because he suddenly fell ill in the way that shows of a poison that's native to the region they were currently in. That was his symptoms as documented.
Yeah. Well, he had plenty of time and months to try to stage this in a withdrawal that made more sense, and he didn't. He pulled the trigger and bass backwards, and like Matt Zeller said yesterday after the speech, if he's going to own that speech or something, he better own the lives that are going to be lost as a result of his decisions. But I doubt it, if this is any example of that. Anyway, we spent a long time on this. So let's move on to MSS News. I had other stories, but I want to give some time to everyone. So guys, if you have news stories you'd like us to read on the air, please send them to us via Twitter using the hashtag MSS News. Can't promise to get to them all. That's because we all have a lot to say, and we're chatty people. Let's see. This one comes from birthday boy Sean Uli. Get this set up here. Come on, you can do it. Browser thing. Come on. Yes, there we go. Twitter says Taliban can stay on platform if they obey rules. You okay?
That hurt physically.
That's the guy. That is the guy who got released for Bergdahl. That guy right there.
Unlike President Donald Trump, the faces and voices of the reconstituted Taliban regime in Afghanistan can apparently tweet to their heart's content. In a statement obtained by Mediaite Tuesday, Twitter ducked the question of whether it would bar representatives of the Islamic fundamentalist government from getting their message out 280 characters at a time, saying only that it would, quote, continue to proactively enforce, unquote, its rules outlawing the, quote, glorification of violence, platform manipulation, and spam, unquote. Quote, Twitter's top priority is keeping people safe, and we remain vigilant, the statement added. So you're going to allow the Taliban a propaganda platform. Okay. Both official Taliban spokesmen have unverified accounts on Twitter. One, Zabihullah Muajid, I'm probably screwing that up, has more than 310,000 followers. His most recent tweet as of Tuesday afternoon promoted a press conference by Taliban leaders and drew hundreds of responses, many of them from well-wishers. Dear, I'll not even try to pronounce it. First of all, I welcome you and then congratulate you on the complete liberation of Afghanistan. Read a typical message. The other spokesman, Qari Youssef Ahmadi, has more than 63,000 followers. Oh, he must be jealous. And gained notoriety during the recent fighting for tweeting reports about the capture of various cities as the Taliban swept through the Afghan countryside. Big tech critics have expressed outrage over Twitter's tolerance towards Taliban after it banned Trump in the aftermath of the deadly January 6th riot at the U.S. Capitol. Because these things are comparable, you know. The company also recently suspended Representative Marjorie Taylor Greene after she questioned the efficacy of COVID-19 vaccines. How dare you have a question? But has permitted accounts affiliated with repressive governments like China and Iran to spread anti-American and anti-Israel propaganda. Quote, why on God's green earth does the Taliban spokesman have an active Twitter account but not the former president of the United States? Representative Madison Cawthorn of North Carolina tweeted Sunday. Well, the easy answer is the Taliban leader is not a Republican.
Exactly.
The only differential point here between who we're talking about and who's been kicked off the platform or suspended is their American political affiliation. That's it. If the Taliban leader was a self-declared Republican, they'd probably take him off.
There's so much on the Taliban and everything. Right now, people are sitting there going, oh, they'd rather evacuate the military dogs than the people. Mm-hmm. Yeah, they're U.S. assets. They're getting evacuated. Sorry. They're our dogs. Yeah, we are. That happens.
Yeah.
Quote, freedom and democracy are not doing well when Twitter continues to ban Trump's account but relays the Taliban spokespersons without any second thoughts, agreed Jerome Riviere, a member of the European Parliament representing France's far-right National Rally Party. By contrast, Facebook has promised to enforce its ban on accounts that praise, support, or represent the Taliban on all its platforms, including Instagram. Oh, thank God. The last thing we need is some Taliban influencers. The Taliban is sanctioned as a terrorist organization under U.S. law, and we have banned them from our services under our dangerous organization policies, a Facebook spokesperson told CNBC.
How the fuck do you let Facebook have more morals than you? Oh, my God.
I know, right?
That new burkini isn't selling the way they wanted it to.
Does Twitter not have some kind of, like, we won't promote terrorist organizations rule somewhere?
No, because they fucking almost fully endorsed Antifa when they were fucking going.
Right?
Yeah, they have not banned a majority. There is only one distinct Antifa account they banned, which was the main one for all the Portland shit. But they were flat out talking about like firebombing buildings.
All right. I'm going to move on to another article because we got lots to do and stuff to do. This one comes from Jamie Milquist. South Korean men who jizz on women's things may soon be charged with semen terrorism.
What?
Semen terrorism?
Now, what have I said before with strings of words I never thought I'd ever see in my lifetime, nor have ever been uttered before by a human being prior to this moment?
I bet you it's a term on Pornhub.
Severe flaws in South Korea's legal system has allowed perverts to evade harsh punishment. That might change, okay? A Korean man in his 40s ejaculated into his female colleague's coffee tumbler 6 times.
Oh, no.
6 times.
Oh, no.
6 times in one sitting?
Yeah, I was about to say on 6 different occasions. Like
the man's got ammunition.
Whoa, okay. I gotta turn your volume down, dude. It's really spiking on me. Okay.
That's crazy.
Okay, Dex, just don't mess with your microphone settings anymore. I've got them locked, okay?
I didn't, but okay.
Oh, well, it's telling me that it's been manually adjusted. Okay.
I didn't touch anything, I swear.
Okay, I'm lowering the volume there just a little bit.
Okie dokie.
Her coffee was a little salty and bleachy tasting.
Yeah. A male college student smeared his semen onto a female student's sneakers. A graduate student mixed his sperm and spit into a female student's coffee as revenge for rejecting his advances. Okay, the South Korea men are messed up. I don't know what to tell you. Most men who perpetrated these acts walked away with fines, partly because ejaculating or smearing one's semen onto someone's belongings is not classified as a sex crime in South Korea. But politicians and lawmakers like Baek Hae-run, I'm probably screwing that up, are seeking to change that and fight what they call semen terrorism. What we would classify that as a form of assault here, wouldn't we?
I am sending this article to my boyfriend right now.
What is a guidebook?
No, because he was stationed in South Korea, and him and I would laugh at shit like this.
Let's see. Thank you, Keldrig. I entered the stream at the wrong time. Yes, you did.
Oh, yeah.
You caught semen terrorism. And Jonathan Peterson, it's his birthday today. Boy, today's just everybody's birthday. We got Sean Uli, we got Phoebe, we got Jonathan Peterson. Is 9 months back from now some sort of special time of year or whatever?
There was a blizzard.
Ah, that's probably it. All right, well, everyone, or I should say Jonathan Peterson, it's your birthday. Around here, I do this. And a 1 and a 2. Happy birthday!
Oh, what was that?
Hi, Elmo.
Happy birthday.
It's like a Muppet being strangled.
Happy birthday, Jonathan Peterson.
Just picture him holding his knees and rocking back and forth.
Happy birthday, Jonathan.
Kevin Clash is from my hometown.
You know what? I'm tired of semen terrorism. I'll move on from something.
Yeah. That is all the semen terrorism.
I've had enough. I've had enough semen terrorism for one day. Actually, all days. I never want to hear that phrase again. Pop up. Okay, this one comes from Massive Dynamics. South Carolina man gave child a face tattoo at a McDonald's, police say.
Excuse me.
What?
Okay, was it first off, was it his child? That's my first question. It was just like he's just sitting in line and like, hey kid, you want an anchor? Yeah. All right. South Carolina man has been arrested for alleging giving. Okay, Fox News, you're no better than CNN right now. How do you like them apples? Alleging giving a child a face tattoo at a McDonald's restaurant. Was it a hamburger? Brandon Preshaw, 28, of Lawrence, South Carolina, is charged with illegal tattooing and underage tattooing after police learned that a minor received a tattoo. The alleged, you got that right, an incident happened at a McDonald's in Lawrence, you don't say, located in northwest South Carolina, north by northwest, on August 6th. Authorities were tipped off that a man had tattooed a child's face at the restaurant after a customer filmed the incident and posted a video on social media. Investigators identified the suspected unlicensed tattoo artist as Prescia. Did he have an ink gun there, or did he like do some kind of like homemade? I mean, it's a McDonald's. Like, he didn't have like a compressor setup or something, right? Yeah, I'm just like, no employees were like,
Did the kid have like a Mike Tyson lisp or something?
Quote, in our restaurants, nothing is more important to us than the safety and well-being of our customers and employees, McDonald's said in a statement. The conduct reported is not in line with the values of our organization or in line with our expectations for how restaurants should be run. Was he an employee of the... I'm confused. Pressure's being held at... No, okay, you're leaving out a whole bunch of details. Like, who was this kid in relation to this guy? Was he just some kid at the restaurant? Was this guy an employee at the restaurant? Is that why McDonald's is making a statement? Or are they effectively chiding their staff for not intervening when they saw this? I'm confused. But unless we get more details, I guess we're just out of luck.
Who needs details, man?
Let's see. Let's get something that's relatively lighthearted here. I'm getting a little... nope, now we're back to yesterday's stories. Okay, well, the no lightheartedness for us. We'll go on to this one from Little David. Because it deals with sports, and I don't know sports. So, Felipe Vasquez sentenced to 4 years in prison for sexually assaulting teen.
Well,
good that he was sent away.
That'll do it.
I don't know who he is, but okay. Former Pittsburgh Pirates pitcher Felipe Vasquez was sentenced to 4 years in prison on Tuesday for sexually assaulting a 13-year-old girl. Judge Scott Mears ordered Vasquez, 30, to serve 2 years to 4 years in prison, with an additional 2 years on probation, as well as a lifetime registration as a sex offender. Only 4 years? Okay. He was found guilty of 10 counts of sexual abuse of children.
Good God.
4 years? That's all he got?
Yeah, they'll probably kill him in like less than one, though. So
two counts of unlawful... Well, as a celebrity, he'll probably get special protective custody. 2 counts of unlawful conduct with a minor, and 1 count each of statutory sexual assault, indecent sexual assault, and corruption of a minor in May. He was also found not guilty on 10 counts of unlawful contact or communication with a minor. Okay, well, not guilty on 10, but totally guilty of the other 10. All right. Police said Vasquez met the girl through social media when she was 13 in July 2017, and a month later drove to her home while her parents were out of town and had sex with her before returning to Pittsburgh. One of those instances where I really wish he'd arrived and found Chris Hansen there. They continued to exchange sexually explicit text messages and images until the teen's mother discovered the relationship and alerted authorities in Florida in June 2019. The teen, now 17, testified that she suffers from depression and anxiety as Vasquez, quote, stole my innocence and robbed my of my high school years. Okay. Mears on Tuesday denied a motion by defense attorney Gary Gerson for acquittal, claiming the evidence against Vasquez during the trial did not support the guilty verdicts and that the teen lied to Vasquez about her age. I don't know. I'd say that if you show up to a house and it's a 13-year-old and you're a 30-year-old, you might have a notion that something's not right here.
Yeah.
Because Vasquez has already served 23 months in jail, he'll be eligible for parole beginning next month. What? Is it even a crime in Florida to do this?
Apparently not.
That's insane.
Lord.
I mean, it's not out of the question for people to lie about their age in situations like this, but god damn, dude, at 13?
Wait, is this? I'm surprised this isn't a federal case because he crossed state lines for that shit.
I was about to say the parole process could be delayed, however, as he faces charges in Florida and Missouri for additional alleged crimes involving the same victim. Florida authorities previously sought to extradite Vasquez to face charges he possessed child pornography, including pictures he was sent by the teen, but Gerson says it was likely Vasquez would ultimately be deported to Venezuela.
Oh,
Yeah, okay.
Okay, where he'll probably live like a king, because who's going to care about him in Venezuela? Okay, well, first off, he shouldn't just be unless live a life of luxury in Venezuela, because unless he's completely blown all of his baseball money.
Whoa, it's the Pittsburgh Pirates. They're not paying exactly.
That's true. But I mean, well, again, here's my question: how far can you stretch an American dollar in Venezuela?
Quite fucking
it depends
far.
on how much it weighs. And those tattoos, he's got a lot of them. Those bitches aren't cheap.
Yeah, well, I mean, they could be at McDonald's.
Nice callback.
Hey, it's what I've had some practice. What can I tell you? Let's see. Anything else? Well, that's basically it. I've read one story from everybody, and we're back to yesterday. So we're gonna. Yeah.
I figured it out.
Yes.
Semen terrorism. That's what every pregnant woman thinks.
Yeah.
Right before they go into labor. Right before they go into labor.
If you consider the egg the proverbial capital, and the semen as the insurgents, then yes, every instance of conception is semen terrorism.
Wouldn't that be semen bioterrorism, though?
Moving on to YouTube time.
Environmental terrorism.
Thank you guys for the stories and everything. We're going to move on to something that hopefully does not involve semen philosophy. So I'll go first because I don't have much. My YouTube activities have been prepping the theme for tonight, which is Sesame Street, the thumbnail thereof. I am looking at various options for my Thursday TED Excellence. I think I may have selected the one I will work with, but you never know because TEDx drops new stuff every day now. Although today, the majority of the new stuff they dropped was all like, I mentioned this the other night, TEDx youth things. So you had like high school kids giving speeches, and it's like, I'm not going to work with that stuff. But there's a couple of beauties in there. Let me read off some of the titles of the things that I'm considering. Let's see. 3 myths about racism that keep the U.S. from progress. How backing more women-led companies can transform the tech industry. Disrupting Death, a guide to dying well.
What?
The Masks of Domination. I have no reason or idea why I would select that one as a possibility. Let's see, I'm holding that one for another. Improving criminal justice with 4 mindset shifts. And lastly, unearth your trauma, with earth being capitalized in the unearth thing, because apparently this has something to do with the psychology of plants.
Oh.
I've been sitting on that one for a while because I'm like, that was like the wacky one I was thinking about at one point, but then changed my mind for something else. So not sure about that one. That might be too wacky, but we'll see. Anyway, so those are the ones I'm considering. I think out of those, I've picked the one I'm going to do, but that'll be Thursday. And then I don't have anything set for Sunday yet. But as far as like for this show, guest schedules, right now I have at least confirmed for the moment, unless technical difficulties pose a problem. Bluntly Blondie will be with us tomorrow night. And maybe somebody else. I'm not sure yet. I don't want to, write checks I can't cash. And Friday, not sure yet. And Thursday will be call-in show part 2. Might just take the whole 2 hours to do call-in. We'll see how that works out. So that's my YouTube stuff. Satsu, what do you got?
I edited a cooking video last night. I am prepping to release a series of videos from another game at sometime in the near future. I actually got a because you remember I bought that induction cooker that I was using in my cooking videos for a while. But it needs to be plugged in, and that is an inconvenience in itself because all the places that I have to plug in stuff are very inconvenient. So I bought a butane burner, which I've never had before, but this one is actually safe to use in the house because most of the ones I was finding were outdoors, but I was able to find one that's good to use in the house. So I'm thinking about starting to do my cooking streams again, and I found a good way to do it. So now with this, I can set up anywhere. Like anywhere that's convenient, I can kind of set up a little area to be able to start recording and doing that type of stuff. So plan on doing that soon-ish. I don't know exactly how soon, but I'm working that out. I have the means. I just need to figure out what it is I want to make first and all that good stuff. So a lot of background stuff for the time being.
All right. Gamer Beline, you got anything going on YouTube?
Not on YouTube. On Twitch tonight. I'm
Okay.
probably gonna be playing GTA
The
online
original?
for a while. No,
Oh.
no. I don't have a ROM for that.
Oh.
No, 5. Although I have been hooked on the story. Like I stayed up almost 24 hours yesterday just playing the
Jesus.
story mode.
Oh my God.
I got hooked into it.
Obviously so.
And then I'm still working on editing, but I'm gonna have driving footage, and there's a couple funny moments from our vacation up to Montana that I'm gonna put online. One of them was driving up a mountain pass. Prius decided to NASCAR the turns using all 4 lanes of the highway.
Yeesh.
And I have found the perfect clip of Jeremy Clarkson just roasting the Toyota Prius that I want to add over it.
Nice.
So that's what I'm sifting through is like 9 hours of driving footage.
All right. Dex, you doing anything on YouTube or elsewise?
Not really. I usually just record what I play and I just upload it. I used to stream fairly regularly on Twitch, but lately I haven't had the motivation to do either of those things. But I don't know. You never know. I've been thinking of going back to doing some more Twitch. I can't talk. Some more Twitch streaming, but I have no idea what I would even play at that point.
Yeah, I'm still debating as to what I will do with my Twitch channel. I don't think gaming is necessarily in my future for it, at least not video gaming, but we'll see. All right, is that it?
As far as I know.
Okay. Well, we'll move on to some fucketry. I have a little bit I'd like to share because it's been a very exciting and, as far as likes concerned, popular day for me on the Twitter machine. So many of you may have seen this floating around today.
Yeah.
Someone named Rosalind Talusin, who is someone who's with the AV Club or something. I never heard of her before. But she asked this the other day, why did a white woman write a cookbook about dumplings and noodles? The implication being that because dumplings and noodles are, I suppose, considered only Asian foods, that this lady had no right to do so. And I said, because she's got some recipes that she thinks are worth sharing. Mine was probably the most benign of the responses that lady got to her tweet. But the funny thing was, and I have to scroll up a bit to get to it, later on, the actual author of that book responded to her. So let me find that as I scroll through all my other stuff. Okay, so the lady, Pippi, that's the author of the book, she said, "Hi, Rosalind, trying to approach this without defensiveness, and it seems as though your issue is with the larger system of injustice in food publishing / underrepresentation of BIPOC authors / overrepresentation of white authors, rather than me personally, or I think so anyway." So Pippi is woke, and she's treading around being very respectful to her privilege, which seems kind of a shame. But Rosalind says, "Hey, Pippi, white women who make a living off of writing about cultures to which they do not belong are neither creative or original. It's not a personal attack. It's, I assume A, comment on how the system benefits you. And I said, it's not a personal attack. I'm just demeaning you and your work on the basis of your skin color. That's all. It isn't inherently a personal attack. And this Pippi lady is being ridiculously self-effacing in the face of an absolute and total racist jerkwad, which is a shame because she's got nothing to apologize for or try to explain away this lady's words into some righteous effort or something. And really, this is a total example of just how this ideology is making people into and no offense to Catholics, but it's effectively Catholicism of an ideological kind without the magisterium. It's, I am inherently flawed, I have original sin, and I will continue to apologize for it and make excuses for people who use my wretchedness against me. It's kind of sad, but also kind of ridiculous. Beyond that, Prime Video today asked, life has never been the same since watching blank. Fill in the blank. And I said, 2G, 1C. If you do not know what that means, you are a healthy individual. If you know what that means, then you know exactly what I am talking about.
Well, that threw me off of my ice cream for a while.
Yeah, sorry. And then this, and I'm kind of tempted to do a quick stream on this article because this is one of those tweets that was promoted, right? I didn't have any choice. I had to see it. GSK US, which is a pharmaceutical company, our president of US Pharmaceuticals, Maya Martinez Davis, spoke to Farm Exec about how the pharma industry is becoming an IND role model. Okay, first off, it's not IND, it's D&I or DEI. So how they screwed that up and want to be a role model, I don't know. But anyway, for other industries and what GSK is doing to build belonging. And if you read the article, and I skimmed through it a little bit, but I found the relevant point that I was looking for. And I said, your goal is, quote, to reach at least 30% ethnically diverse leaders by the end of 2025. We are currently at 23%, unquote. And I ask a question I'll never get an answer to. Please define ethnically diverse, and please tell us where in the process one's ethnic diversity status becomes a decision point in hiring and or promotions. Because how else are you going to achieve your percentage checklist if you do not take into account someone's ethnicity in your hiring and promotion decisions? That is the question I have asked multiple times of multiple companies and individuals, of course, rhetorically over the years. I've never received an answer. I don't think I'll receive one now, but their very statement brings that question to the fore, like every other company that's done it.
I have a question.
Mm-hmm.
You're saying IND and it should be D&I. Do
Yep.
you mean Innovation and Development Department?
No, diversity and inclusion.
Okay.
Yeah, no, if you go into the actual article, they do it the right way around.
Okay.
And they even give the two different definitions, D&I or DEI, as they say. So this is, whoever wrote this, I mean, it could be just a mess up or they don't know what they're talking about. Either way.
Okay, I heard IND and you're talking about it. I'm like, does he mean Innovation and Development?
No,
because that's an actual division
no,
in a lot of companies.
No, it's diversity and inclusion. And the whole thing is it's a big promotion for their new diversity and inclusion executive officer, which is this lady here. So yeah, they transpose the letters there. And for those of you that didn't see it, there's the wonderful Lords of the Night Sesame Street thumbnail. Now, by accident, happy accident, I made tailed feature Grover, right? And I sent him the thumbnail after I'd made it, and he says, "Am I Grover?" And I said, "Yeah." He says, "My mom's favorite." And I'm like, "Great, perfect." And Sinatra was very excited to be Elmo. He was very happy to be Elmo. And Drunkle is Oscar by request. He wanted to be Oscar the Grouch. And so there you go. And I think that constitutes most of my fuckatry today. So there you are. Satsu, you got any fuckatry?
Well, the only fuckatry that I really kind of got into, well, didn't really get into it, but I almost made a video on it. I'm probably still going to do it because it's a topic I wanted to chime in on. But there's been the great migration of WoW refugees over to Final Fantasy, correct?
Yes.
And there's been a huge kind of talk about people boosting in the game in order to skip the story, buying level skips or whatever, so they can get straight to the end game. And there was some controversy because Asmongold came over, he played, and he'd been playing it normally and doing all the content, and the opposite of what people thought was going to happen. He's just been a fucking joy to the community, pretty much. And then this other dude came along, he bought a skip, and then after he bought the skip and went through the game, he complained about everything being hard or complicated or stupid, and that the story was bad. And then people were like, how the fuck would you know if you skipped the whole story? Like, how would you know that the story is bad? You didn't play it. So that started this big old thing, and it kind of got some of the gatekeepers in the Final Fantasy community to just start shitting on anybody that buys a skip for any reason. And like I said, I'm going to do a video on it, but long story short, man, it's a fucking MMO. You can play it however the hell you want to play it. Like, it doesn't matter what you do, as long as you're enjoying whatever you're doing inside of the MMO and not cheating and breaking their terms of service, then who gives a fuck? Like, why does it matter if somebody bought a skip and skipped through the story and now they're just doing raids because that's what they want to do? There's crafting and gathering and shit. Some people only do that. So I'll get into it more in the video as I talk about it. But yeah, it's just weird having people playing an MMO however they want, going to other people and saying, you shouldn't be playing it like this. I'm just like, but you're playing it however you want. So who the fuck are you to tell somebody else how to play it? But yeah, it's interesting. It's not like one of those, it's the whole community thing. Obviously, it's a subset of people just being assholes. But it was a topic that I wanted to chime in on. So I'll be putting out a full video for that soon.
Alrighty. Any fucketry today, Gamerline?
I actually have a couple things. One of them is the footage of that Air Force jet that was being mobbed. During P-Dog's stream this morning, they were talking about the majority of the people that you were seeing on the planes that were taken off with people on them were military fighting age. Well, the people rushing the aircraft also the same. And it says, and I made the comment for everyone all pissed off because the one conversation that was going on was, is it worse or not as bad as Saigon? No, it's actually worse because these are people rushing an aircraft that turned around right after landing with supplies on board and snoped the fuck out of there. Because that wasn't a plane there for evacuation. They were bringing supplies. They got the door halfway down and noped out. They couldn't even get the pallets off the plane, which should be relatively rapid because the pallets are on rollers essentially inside. But there's an air crew of maybe 10 people on board. So if they rush the aircraft, those people are swamped. So while it's a shame they died, those are all military-aged men. That's my whole argument for this thing. If they wanted to stand up for their country, their neighbor of Iran did it in the 1970s. If their neighbor had a revolution in the 1970s. Not the way we wanted it to go, but it's been done. Syria has been having it go on for years. If they actually wanted to fight for their country and prevent the Taliban from coming in, they would stand up, take the arms that we bought them, essentially, and fight. Not that the Taliban has working aircraft, because all the aircraft that are grounded there have holes in them that aren't flyable anymore. But the other thing was Hassan Piker decided to comment today.
Oh, we love him.
Ooh. His comment, a woman said, hey, you're fucking this up, blah, 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 in her video and saying Biden was a disgrace. He goes, of fucking course, the army wife wants the occupation to continue so she can keep cheating on her deployed husband. Not once does she mention having a husband even in the military, much less one deployed. And he goes that route. So I I retweeted it with a comment, bold statement from a dude that can't even get a blow-up doll turned on. Signed, a female with bigger balls. And I commented on it as well that says, shut up for once, edgy boy. A plane bringing supplies had to take off without unloading because the military-aged men rushed the aircraft. History has proven that military units that get abandoned by their government tend to go rogue. And that's it for my internet fucketry for today. I mean, the rest of it's just being a shithead on Discord usually.
Yeah, what happened with the Iraqi military as soon as we pulled out and decided to disband them? Yeah,
actually,
they turned around, took their weapons, and just became part of the insurrectionists.
Well, currently in Iraq, there's still two factions fighting each other. Mm-hmm. There's the Iranian backside, and then there's the independent Iraqi movement that are still fighting one another. The problem with the independent Iraqi group is, they bought a bunch of weapons from us, but basically they had to start all of their military from scratch. And we spent far less time there overall. Whereas the Iranians, they have a bunch of weapons. They are they were Soviet backed, and now they are Russia and China backed. So they're getting a bunch of military weapons, and the Iranian backed side is better armed just by who's backing them.
Mm-hmm.
But the Iraqi side's at least putting up a fight, and the Iraqi side, they may not like Israel, but they do like Israel's presence in the area, because Israel just tells Iran, like, we can hit you from here.
Mm-hmm.
That's all they say is, like, we don't even have to take off to hit you. The Afghans, it sucks, but if they really want it, we literally gave them $2 billion to buy weapons over the course of the past 10 years while we were training their units. If they wanted to fight and there wasn't all the money, where a good chunk of the money went to local corruption, they would be one of the best armed government militaries in the area. The Taliban used local corruption to take down the smaller cities, making Kabul easy to take. They took the strategic route. Mm-hmm. Somebody's been playing Risk in that group, where they just basically bribed the lower level governments so they could take large swaths of land with a medium-sized population, not entirely rural areas, but very suburban areas, making Kabul the last bastion.
Mm-hmm.
So they took a smart strategy with it, but it's all because we were just like, here, have all the money.
Okay. Dex, you got any fucketry?
A couple of things, both Twitter related, so pretty much garbage. The other day, I made a joke post on Twitter. They mentioned 21 Pilots. And I posted, I don't know if you've seen that meme with that chick track type thingy where it was like, they hated Jesus because he spoke the truth. And in his speech bubble, it says 21 Pilots sucks. So I was like, funny. There are people who took it super seriously for what reason I don't know. And one of them was like, you have 10 followers. And I was like, and like, I don't understand why people take obvious jokes super seriously, especially when I had also put in that I don't even know 21 Pilots, so I don't know if they suck or not. And yeah, the only other fucketry I have is I had to take a 12-hour vacation from Twitter for posting a picture that had the R word in it. And I was like, really?
Oh no.
It took me several minutes to even I got a thing basically saying, like, we limited your account features. And I was like, what did I do this time? Sometimes when I engage with certain people, I'll use certain language, and I'm not even entirely sure what I did this time. And I was just like, "Oh, that's what I posted." It was a picture of somebody holding on a pamphlet that said like "so your" and it had the R word, and that apparently is enough to get you temporarily banned. But if I was the Taliban, I think I'd be all right.
Yeah, if you're the Taliban promoting Sharia law on Twitter, you'd be fine.
Yeah, just Twitter in general. I don't even know why. When I got quote unquote permabanned, I was happy for a while, but I decided to cheat the system and make a new account. I'm not sure how they let me, but we'll see how long this lasts before I get canned again.
Guys, I'm gonna have to step away for a minute. I suddenly have a very painful headache. I'll be back in a couple minutes after I take some Tylenol or something. Okay.
Okay.
Oh shit! It's freestyle time, guys.
All right, let's do this. Instantly in.
Somebody start beatboxing. Oh god, that would be disastrous.
I am too white for that.
I don't know, man. Look,
I have zero rhythm. It's possibly negative.
Come on, man. Don't match up with the stereotype.
Dude, I can't help it. I work night shift. I'm like almost glow in the dark.
Well, don't feel bad. I'm holy shit. So white, you transparent. Jeez.
I have my own protective running gear built in. It's called my skin. Now I just got to actually run.
Don't feel bad though, because I'm black and I can't dance. So I guess
yeah, same boat.
Guess everybody ain't blessed. We could just do the fucking awkward Charlie Brown dance session because none of them fucks can dance, but they've been doing it for years.
I mean, I haven't tried to dance, so I'm like, oh, music, sound. That's something.
I know he stopped because Scribbles took a step away, but were you done with your fucketry?
Who, me?
Yeah. Were you done?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Yeah. I didn't confirm because like Scribe left and then he didn't ask.
It's fine.
Okay. I didn't want to just assume. I'm just like, yeah, fuck
I'm just trying to rack my brain. Like, what did I do today? I played video games and slept for half the day, so I got nothing.
Yeah. Most of my day was comprised of Final Fantasy XIV, which is kind of how that usually goes. Because I mean, the new expansion is about to come out, so I'm just kind of trying to get some groundwork done. You know how that. Well, if you've played an MMO, you know how that goes.
Oh yeah. I have too much ADHD for that. Like just today, I've been playing a bunch of my Switch games, and I would play a game for 5 minutes and be like, no, I'm bored of this. I'll do something else. So I did some Mega Man 11, some what was it? Some Monster Hunter, some Super Smash Brothers, and I just kept flicking through. I do like a couple minutes at a time and be like, this bores me now. What else?
Yeah, I used to be like that with gaming, but nowadays it's just like this is the game that I'll be playing for like the next 6 months.
The last MMO does Warframe. No, it doesn't. The last MMO I played was I was going to say Warframe, but that doesn't really count.
I mean, it kind of counts. Warframe is technically an MMO.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
but I mean, the last traditional one I think was World of Warcraft, actually. Back, I want to say 2015, because my girlfriend at the time, her brother was super into it. So, me, her, him, and two other people, we made like a thing in WoW, and just now, I'm just like, I can't be bothered. Because near the end
to have that experience, man. I really want to, like, where I just get some people that I know, just like some friends, and be able to start this game. Like as a matter, well, I did get to do that a little bit with SDA. Like we played through a little bit, going through the beginning, and then I've had some people. And what'll happen? Like I've talked about this before. I'm like, hey, you should get Final Fantasy 14. And they're like, fuck yeah, I should do that. Thanks for the recommendation. And then they get the game and join a completely different server and data center, and they're like, oh. God. Yeah, you know, I got a friend who was over in this server, so thanks for introducing me, but fuck you. I'm like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
My feelings ain't heard of nothing.
the girl I was with had what was it? She had like a magnetic pull, so everyone was just kind of like they would like latch onto her at the detriment of everyone else. So
yeah.
I'm just like I can't with this nonsense. And she's the type to just sit there and be all cute with everyone, and we're just like, can we do this thing now, please?
Oh, jeez.
Yeah.
By the way, guys, start queuing up your questions. I don't know when Scribe's coming back, but it is getting about that time. So if you have any questions,
is he grinding his pills up and snorting them or something? Or
I don't know. It could be.
Right, all the these smell great.
Look, if you want them to work quick, sometimes you gotta do what you gotta do, man. I ain't judging nobody out loud, at least.
I can play MMOs, but I work such a weird schedule that like raiding becomes really difficult. So they've lost their allure because I can't raid.
For me though, like I don't really get into raiding, like, and that was like the draw for me is in this game. I don't feel compelled to. Well,
and I'm not a big PvPer, so I'm kind of stuck with. I get to the end of the game and I'm like, okay, I'm here.
Shit, I get caught up in fucking I just be doing everything else, all the gathering and crafting and all that other shit. And the economy like really got me hooked because I'm like, trying to make money and work the market boards and shit. There's tons of things to do because dude, I've been playing this game for 8 years, probably I think going on 9 now, and I don't think I've ever been in a PvP match, not a single time since I started playing this game.
Well, and that's a lot of the newer MMOs have done that. WoW, they haven't done that with. So I'm kind of out right now while I can't.
Oh, somebody asked me what server. I'm in Lamia server on Final Fantasy 14. Satsu is a thaumaturge in Final Fantasy 14, Black Mage. Yes, that's what it turns into. Thaumaturge is the class, and then the job is Black Mage. Which is, to be honest, I've played every class in this game, every single one. And the only one that I'm just like, no, I just don't like this at all is Black Mage. Is the only one. The others, I'm just like, not my speed, but I'd try it. But Black Mage, still to this day, I'm just like, I don't like it. I just don't like playing it. And it's the only one. There's, 17 classes in this game? I don't know what it is. I don't know. But it's, I hear I think it's one of the strong. Check your DMs, please. Oh, I think Scribbles might be... Satsu, check your DMs. Hold on. Full on migraine. Just crept up. Can you take to show the question time? Yep, I'm already doing that. Look at me. Look at me. Scribbles. I'll be back in a bit. All right.
Oh, no.
Uh-oh.
All right, so his classist. Look, man, look, I gave every class, and I think it took me, like, I've been playing Final Fantasy, like I said, for like 9 years before I even tried tanking. I was just like, nope, tanking ain't for me. It's not something you would ever see me doing. Healing is where my heart belongs. Then I tried DPSing, and I'm like, this is cool, but I still love healing. I am like full on tanking now. Like, I just started that like a couple months ago, and I started I'm like, shit, I've been depriving myself of this whole time. So now I'm like running through and doing all the dungeons as a tank because I'm like, what have I been doing? Why have I not been doing this? So that's been fun.
So, Pyrus, I would imagine we trained the Afghans similarly to the way we're trained. If they're going to be flying our aircraft, they should probably know our tactics because our aircraft were designed for our tactics.
Are you answering a question?
I am answering a question.
Yeah, read it out first so that way.
Sorry.
Because you like threw me away. I'm like, wait, what?
Pyrus addressed this to me. I heard we trained the Afghans in our tactics using air power and intel that they didn't have without us. You know anything about that?
Okay,
well,
all right.
Their military technology was far behind ours. if you look right now, Russia's new prototype fighter is them. Somebody went to an air show and did a LiDAR scan of the F-35, basically. So their new stealth fighter looks a lot like our F-35. So I would imagine that we train them similarly in all tactics, because we have different forces that do different things, and between those branches they train differently. My boot camp was very, very different than the Marine Corps and the Army and the Air Force, and those three are different from each other. They're ground forces, not naval forces, so, and they're different from each other. The Marine Corps boot camp's 13 weeks, whereas the Air Force was 6.5 weeks up until up until about 10 years ago. And then it went back to 8 weeks. And then the Army's like 9 weeks. So our own branches train differently. So they're learning multiple tactics depending on what their area of responsibility would be for their different branches, if they have different branches or they fall under one just general defense ministry. Not sure how they're divided up, but the intelligence gathering would absolutely be from us, because they don't have a satellite in space to give them satellite intelligence, and we have several of them up there. That's us and the Soviets, now Russians, kind of watch certain things of each other. That's why we have B-52s chopped up in Arizona. It's a bastion of peace. We leave them there on the ground, chopped into 6 pieces, I believe. And they have given us one concession as well. That was basically our concession to the Soviets, and they gave us like one concession, and that was it. So.
Okay, I've completely forgotten what the question was. What the fuck?
Did they train with us based on intelligence that they didn't have? And do I know?
Okay.
About that.
Gotcha. Devil Fruit asks, did you hear that Justin Trudeau said the Taliban needs to step up and that's what we're expecting of them? No. I don't often hear Justin Trudeau say anything, to be perfectly honest, because I hate listening to my own politicians. So I definitely don't go seeking out the fucking viewpoints of others just because. Let me see here. That was a question I missed, so let's go back down. You got Pyrus's question. That's good. Oh, hold on. There was a food question, and this shit just jumped. Cheese-filled fried chicken balls. Why? 2 baked garlic potatoes, caramel-injected chocolate-coated blueberries, and ginger green. What the fuck, man? What? Why? What is this stuff? Is this one of those eccentric restaurants? Like that one from Kitchen Nightmares where you walk in and the owner is like belly dancing and shit, and you're just like, I'm just here to eat. Like, what the fuck is going on? Yeah, that's a bit much. What do you guys think?
Wait, what was the food?
Cheese-filled fried chicken balls, twice baked garlic potatoes, caramel-injected chocolate-coated blueberries, and ginger green tea.
That's
I am
a bit
down.
much for me.
I am down with everything but the dessert.
I could have maybe 2 of those before I couldn't eat anymore.
There is a restaurant near me called Sicilian Butcher, and they do chicken parmesan meatballs, and they're amazing.
That sounds good. Chicken parm meatballs?
Dude, I'll show you their menu, and their pork chop took up like my whole plate. I was like, this is definitely leftovers.
Hell yeah.
But
see.
I do not like caramel, which if my boyfriend was listening right now, he'd probably want to come in here and strangle me for saying that.
That is a pretty blasphemous statement, but I'll let it slide.
I'm gonna have to concur with Satsu. Caramel is freaking delicious. I don't know what's wrong with you.
It's quite blasphemous, but you know what?
I never liked sweets as a kid, so I don't like them now.
Well, okay, sweets in general, that's fine. But you singled out caramel, so.
Well, no, they said caramel.
Oh,
and
they
it's
did.
Caramel. That's the blasphemous thing. That is caramel. It's not caramel. There's another A, and it's behind the R.
That is also quite blasphemous. I thought Gamer Valine was German for some reason. Why did I think that? I don't fucking. Are you German?
I mean, yes, I am German. That's true. I am of German descent.
Okay. Well, so something you must have said must have led them to believe that you were not German. I
hijacked Scribe's chat like 2 months ago and started talking in German in the chat. That was when he started talking and trying to read.
Oh, so they German. Like that was like your native tongue or something like that.
Yes.
Cannibalistic says Satsu don't like Black Mage because black. Nah, man, I like the Black Knight. I mean, it's called the Dark Knight, but I'm gonna say the Black Knight because I need to cover my own ass on this Black Mage thing. So, let's see here. Scrolling. That's German, and I can't read it. So sorry.
The second question is how much German have I learned? And I can type it better than I can speak it.
Gamer Valine, did you ever ride in a Bradley fighting vehicle?
No, I was in the Navy and I was smart enough to not go on deployments like that. I deployed to Japan and I was on heavies, so I got paid to stay in very expensive hotels in Southeast Asia.
That sounds not so bad.
The Ritz-Carlton in Jakarta, highly recommended.
That sounds not so bad, actually.
No, I was the second highest in my class with one guy who was changing jobs who beat me, and he worked on the plane we were getting tested on. So he beat me by one question. I was like, damn, I'm not the top in the class, but I still got top pick of orders, and I went to heavies and never saw a combat zone. I saw Japan and Italy on deployment.
Jamie said Trudeau was asked a yes or no question and avoided it. Well, that's one hell of a way to avoid a question. Like, what? Do you like grilled cheese? Yes or no? Well, I think the Taliban should step up. It's like, whoa. Pardon me, sir? All right. This is both to Dex and the Gamer Valine. Is cereal soup?
No. Yes. Cereal is an ingredient. For the love of fucking God. It's a cereal is an ingredient. I can literally go and buy cereal in bulk. What kind of cereal am I buying? It depends on what I'm using it for.
I think he's using the term colloquially, you know, not like the actual grain cereal, but like cereal with milk, and, you know, your Captain Crunches, your shredded wheat.
I think she knows. I feel like she knows.
You mean a soggy milk mush?
Yes, exactly.
Is it soup?
And
that is not soup. That's soggy milk mush.
If you buy non-crap cereal, it won't be soggy. So there. And I will go further. And I also say that hot dogs are also sandwiches.
I think I think the International Sandwich Commission would disagree with you there. So.
Wait, what was a sandwich?
Hot dogs. No, actually, you know what? You know, you might be right. There is a commission out there that designates what is a sandwich and what is not. And I believe pizza was designated as a sandwich.
So what you're saying is the committee's not made up of women.
Wait, one more time.
The committee is not made up of women.
Oh, yeah. I learned a lot of weird shit from watching Food Theory. So let's see. Gamer Valine, Marvel or DC?
What context? Because we could go with the comics, and if it's a Frank Miller comic, absolutely hands down DC.
How about just like overall, you know, just like if taking everything into account.
For me, DC Comics, if we include their Dark Horse stories, they have the better lineup for my tastes.
Mm-hmm.
Marvel is more entertaining to watch on the screen, though.
Gotcha. What about you?
I'm gonna say Marvel, just for overall.
Okay. Yeah, probably same for me. Marvel overall. Caramelized onions. Have you sorted it out? No. And I don't plan on sorting it out either. This is a battle that I am just not budging on. I have no desire to explore the intricacies of caramelized onions. I'm sorry, I just don't. It's the most. It's. Don't get me started on this shit again, man. No, the answer is no. Chili, beans or no beans? You know what? There was only one time that I actually experienced the kind of controversy around this, because I didn't know that it was a thing for a long time until I actually experienced two people argue about it. And throughout this argument, I was just listening very intently. And on a few occasions, I was thinking, like, maybe I should interject because I have a few opinions on this. And then right away, something hit me. And I was just like, wow, I really don't actually give a fuck. So, no, I'm just going to shut up. So, yeah, I never chimed in on that conversation because I'm just like, I don't really care. I mean, you can, if it has beans in it, fine. If it doesn't, fine. It's still chili. It's all chili to me. So I just was like, this is ridiculous. Like, y'all are really arguing over this. Like, it matters, and it doesn't. So, I mean, if you don't like beans, then don't put beans in your chili. If you do like beans, then put beans in that shit. Like, I never understood why that was like, because it was like a big thing, and I was puzzled, baffled even. Do you guys have any opinions on this?
Well, it's not chili. Well, I mean, they call it chili con carne, so they're more focused on does it have meat or not in it.
Right.
That's my only take on it. Chili is chili with or without meat. You don't factor the beans into it, though, so it's almost always with beans.
That's what I thought.
Prefer with beans, but
right.
I'm not too fussed about it either.
It's filling in the winter, especially when I eat.
Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
I mean, the way I make it, I have beans in it because I make it super heavy so I can eat my one meal on a 12-hour shift because I don't like just picking at food through the night. So I just eat one big ass meal and I'm good with it.
Yeah, my wife, she made chili 2 days ago and it had beans in it and I wasn't tripping. Like, it's just like, it's fine. There's a lot of food things that people like go back and forth about. Like the only one that I can really, really get behind and understand is like the steak argument, because there is a fundamental difference between, like rare and well done. You know what I mean? As far as taste and texture and juiciness and all that shit is concerned, like there is a difference. So I can understand how people have these like crazy, definitive, like this is the only way to do it. But some other stuff, I'm just like, really? Like, it's not that deep. I don't know if you guys were present for this, but the entirety of our community pretty much jumped down my throat about the cereal before the milk thing or milk before the cereal thing. And I'm just like, shut the fuck up.
My sister does milk first, and yeah, we've had we almost came to blows over that one.
Wait. What was the part? So you were saying it didn't matter. I'm going to assume you say it doesn't matter if you put the cereal or the milk first.
I don't personally think it matters, but for me, there are certain cereals that I put the milk in first because they get soggy faster than others. So, and I want to eat it like quick,
That's a reasonable assessment. If you insist the milk has to go on top of the cereal, congrats, you've been sucked into the advertising campaigns because every cereal commercial does that.
Yeah, I'm weak-willed. What do you want from me?
Well, like I said, there are certain cereals I like that get soggier faster, so I do the milk first and then pour the cereal in and eat it really quick so it stays like, and then don't even get me started on putting ice in my cereal. People are like, what the you do what? And I'm like, I like my milk really cold.
I don't eat
That's
cereal.
That's actually not a bad idea.
I don't exactly have a horse in the race.
I like my milk really cold. My refrigerator doesn't get my milk cold enough. I like it really cold when I eat cereal, so I put ice in it. And they're like, "Oh my god, jump off a bridge, you fucking monster!" I'm like, "Oh shit."
Some people will microwave their they microwave their cereal.
I'm really sorry, guys. I don't know what happened there. I was just sitting here and I just got a spike in my head and it felt really bad and I started getting migraine stuff and I think it might have been not having eaten enough today or something. So I made myself something to eat real quick and I will soldier on through. Thank you, Kiever Dam, so much for the donation. Let me get that up here.
Oh, I'm sorry, I did.
Yeah. Let me get that while I got it in front of me. Thank you, Kiever Dam. Catching up. Sorry about your migraine scribbles. Feel better. Thank you so much. And I saw other people saying the same thing. Appreciate it. Just it's not really happened before. I mean, usually a migraine is sort of a long time in coming kind of thing, and then this one has kind of crept up on me. I'm not down for the count per se yet. Hopefully, it's going to be just a momentary thing, but it was enough where I was just like, I need to get away from the computer screen for a few minutes and get something on my stomach. So hopefully everything's okay. I will take back the question duties as far as putting them up on the screen. Satsu, what if caramelized onions are part of your course?
They technically were. I had to make French onion soup, which is literally, caramelized onions and broth. So, and I didn't like it, to be perfectly honest. I don't know. Like, I don't hate caramelized onions or like the when I had the French onion soup. It's just not something that I eat and I'm like, wow, this is amazing. It's just like, wow, this is really boring and there's nothing really to it. So leave me alone.
And now there's a cat.
A cat?
Aw.
This is co-host Lucifer.
Hello, Putty Tat. You now have a warm chair to sit in.
That's
He's
his
like,
chair.
Oh.
Fuck this show.
Like, what are you doing?
Like, I'm just borrowing this chair.
Like, Mommy, what are you doing?
No, he has his own office chair.
You're weird.
It's my old one.
Okay. Whoops. I meant to click on this. Attack Alpaca. Speaking of cereal, between these three, do you prefer Raisin Bran, Golden Grams, or Apple Jacks? The answer is Rice Krispies.
I just had a bowl of Rice Krispies earlier today.
Well, there you go.
Only Raisin Bran, if it's Raisin Bran Crunch. Golden Grams are delicious. And what was the last one?
Apple Jacks.
Apple Jacks are meh. They're hit and miss.
Blech.
If I'm trying to be good, I'll do Raisin Bran, but otherwise Apple Jacks.
Raisin Bran Crunch, baby.
Yeah, Crunch. You
That
gotta
shit's
go with
delicious.
Crunch. The regular stuff tastes like cardboard, but they add, a little bit of extra, flavor to the Crunch stuff. So
Yeah, regular Raisin Bran is literally cardboard shavings with raisins in it.
yeah. So if I'm trying to be good about my diet, that's my go-to. But if I'm just like, I'm gonna be a fat piece of shit, I'll eat, honeycomb or Apple Jacks or the sugary crap.
So, Kitty Cat, what do you think? No, you have to come up with a voice for your cat.
Ow. Dick.
And now we go to our chief cat correspondent, Lucifer. Lucifer, what's going on in cat world?
It's like, your petty human squabbles do not concern me.
Human tweets.
Oh, jeez.
Let's see. Attack Alpaca again. What's the worst thing you've ever done? This show. Oh, wait.
The worst thing I've ever done?
That's a long story I probably don't want to tell.
Yeah, well, that's kind of hard to quantify.
No.
I mean, okay. Well, I've told this story before. So, this was when I was like 10 or something. I was like a little kid, right? And I went off to it was a Boy Scout camp deal, and it was one of those like weekend things where you camp out overnight kind of stuff. And so I was with all these other Boy Scouts from all over the place. And so that first night we're sitting around. They had all these like this campfire or this big bonfire thing set up, and all these. It was an established camp. It wasn't like we just went out in the woods randomly and went out somewhere. It was like a little fort kind of thing. Anyway, so they had these logs set up as like sort of like chairs for like stadium seating on the ground kind of deal. Mm. And so I'm sitting there, and the counselors are like telling ghost stories or whatever the heck it was. And I look down in front of me. Just for whatever reason I look down, and there's like this envelope laying on the ground. And so I pick up the envelope and I look inside, and there's a whole bunch of money in there. Like, I mean, it probably wasn't even more than about maybe like $30 or something, but it looked like a ton of money to me as a little kid, right? And so I kept it. That's not the worst thing, though. Next day, some kid I had never met before from some other troop or whatever was crying his eyes out. He lost the money his dad gave him, right? And everybody was like, oh my God, and everybody's looking around for it, and I helped look around for it. And then when nobody could find it and anything else, people took like pity on the guy and started like some kids started handing him some dollar bills and things, trying to make up for it. I handed him back $2 of his own money.
Holy
yeah, that was. Now I can't say that's the worst thing I've ever done, but I mean, in comparable to my age and everything else, that was pretty fucking low.
Yo, that is savage.
Yeah, that is that was low, and I take a full responsibility in the abstract of it. That was a terrible thing I did. I was an asshole little kid at that moment. I was a pretty well behaved kid most of my life, but I had my moments, and that was one of them. That was the worst one.
Oh, dude.
I know, it was bad. It was bad. It was bad.
I don't think I've ever heard you tell that one before.
I'm pretty sure I've told that on some stream somewhere. I've at least said that one once. So anyway, yeah, but that was in my younger years, that was the worst thing I ever did.
That's fucked.
All right, now beat that.
Well, I can't really beat that, honestly. I don't know. Like, I know I've done some questionable shit in my life, but none of it I want to talk about because of, repressed shit.
Okay. Any confessions you guys want to make, Dex or Gamer?
Mine. Oh, go ahead, Dex.
I downloaded music without paying for it.
Oh, you piece of shit!
Oh my God! You wouldn't steal a car. What
a fucking hey! Kick this fucking criminal off of our.
Until I can think of something worse, I'll let our other guest.
You're not even allowed to speak. Just mute him.
I'm sorry.
Fucking I'm literally downloading illegal music right now.
Damn, I feel so terrible about using my iPhone legitimately. I could have been doing it such an easier way all this time.
Ghost City said, I would have kept it all, so you're a better kid than me, Scribe.
Yeah.
Fuck, that's hilarious. All right.
I was 10. I don't know. I was stupid.
Spilled beans, Gamer.
It got me kicked out of my aunt's house because she asked if she lied to me, and I was a little too honest.
Yeah?
Yeah. She pulled the guilt trip card for me and was like, would I ever lie to you? And I'm like, yeah. And she's like, when did I lie to you? And she had been trying to have a kid like into her 40s. I was like, well, you lied to me about the miscarriage, and maybe that's a good thing because the kid would have been raised by a nanny. And I was like 14 and okay, back to your mother. And I was like, thinking about it later, and I'm like, that was a terrible thing to say. To this day, I'm like, in that case, I still don't regret it. Because my family is just insane with their things. I'm like, how are my parents the sane ones in this equation?
Well, shit. Well, now that I think about it, because I've shared this story before, I don't know if anybody had asked if it was the worst thing I had ever done, but I remember sharing this story when I was with my ex or whatever, and I had really gotten to the point of just like fed up, you know, when you're certain that the relationship is over, but you don't know a good exit strategy, like Biden. Anyway.
Wait, should we be sending this to the White House to take note?
Right. But like we were having one of our, you know, constant arguments about some stupid shit that I had already forgotten about like an hour into it. But I was just, you know, she was pissed and I was pissed. And she was all hysterical and crying and shit like she normally is. And, you know, she was just like, you know, it's so fucking stressful and all this stuff is going on. And you act like you don't even love me. And something snapped because I straight up looked her in the face and was like, that's because I fucking don't. And I was like, oh, did I just fucking say that? I was like, oh my God, like, I'm a bad person now. I need to really get the fuck out of this situation because that was horrible. Like, even if, and I meant it, but I shouldn't have said it because the look on her face was like, wow. And I was like, ooh, boy.
Damn, you had more emotion in a breakup than I did with my divorce.
I was like, dude, that was fucked up. I didn't feel bad about saying it, but like that look on her face, I was like, I made a human being make that face. That's just bad. Like, you don't do that. So yeah, I still feel bad about it to this day. I meant it, but I
just went to work the next day and went, well, I guess I'm getting divorced after deployment. And everybody's like, what? And I'm like, yeah, I guess I'm getting divorced. I was so nonchalant about it. I was like, meh.
Yeah, so that's something I can definitively say, like, I really feel bad about doing, because it was just like, eh. And then he stole $30 from her. No. Oh, man. All right. Any more questions for us before we wrap this thing up?
Yeah. Sean Uli wants to know what my cat's name is. He is Sir Fatness Lucifer, the Lord of Chunk.
Mm-hmm. That name's too long.
Well, Fat Ass here stole the dog's food ever since he was a puppy. So that's why the dog's afraid of his own food bowl now. I have to chase the cat away.
Oh, boys.
And the dog's bigger than the cat.
See, this is why me and cats ain't cool.
I mean, you saw his evil face.
All cats look like that. They're all evil. Don't let it fool you.
No,
except for that one unique case, that one picture of that cat that's like looks super happy as hell.
Oh,
just smiling like life is great.
Lucifer comes in when I stream because he knows he'll get treats. Because they have that Twitch points thing. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That's pretty smart.
And the Boston Terrier has now learned that trick as well, so he wants in, and I'm like, no, because you're not bringing the Kong with you, so his feelings are hurt. No.
Yeah, I don't do pets, man. I mean, I had my bearded dragon because he was, you know, concealed in a place that was controlled, and I didn't have to worry about him fucking up shit in my house. But
Bridget asks, Satsu, did you see the new JoJo's Bizarre Adventure trailer?
I did, and you know, it was a trailer. I don't know shit about JoJo. I didn't watch it, so you know, I saw the trailer and I was like, cool. I'm sure the people who like JoJo would be pumped about this.
I saw the trailer for the Star Wars Visions series. Did you see this?
No, I didn't.
They got like 9 different anime studios to do their own renditions of Star Wars stuff.
Oh, that's interesting.
And so I just call it Star Weebs.
Is it like the Animatrix thing that they did around there?
No, it's they didn't give it's not like in the universe stuff. They just said use Star Wars as the inspiration for whatever stories you want to tell. So it's just all different sort of variations on thematic elements or something of Star Wars. So you had one that looks like it was drawn like it was a black and white Akira Kurosawa movie of samurais and things, except they have lightsabers and stuff. And another one looks like total big eyes, small mouth, cutesy anime type of deal. So yeah, there's a trailer for bits and pieces of it. So I don't know how interested I am in it, but I'm sure a lot of manga fans would probably find something interesting out of it.
Oh my god!
Before, oh sorry, I was gonna say before it slips my mind. Did they say what the next what the next what if was gonna be about?
Yeah, it's tomorrow. It's what if T'Challa became Star-Lord?
Yeah. Okay.
And I'm debating. I mean, I'll watch it tomorrow, and if I have something worthwhile of saying about it, I might do a stream in the morning about it. But
yeah, I might check it out on my way home because tomorrow's gonna be busy, and I wanted to catch the AAA tomorrow afternoon, and then after that I have some more studying and stuff to do. So
Satsu,
I can't watch it at work, but I'll probably watch it on my way.
Okay. Yeah, that lady, the Rosalind chick.
Yeah.
My friend, he just sent me a picture of the post she put at the end of the whole the debacle.
Mm-hmm.
It says, anyway, therapy cost me $130 a session, and I'm gonna need it after 48 hours of harassment from Nazis.
And then there was her PayPal link.
Yeah, fucking bitch.
All right, well, guys,
in there too.
Guys, we're at the top of the hour, and that's the end of the show. And I need to get away from lights for a little while. So, everyone, thank you so much for joining us tonight. Apologies for my temporary absence from the show, but
and I apologize for my microphone quality.
No, that's all right. It's not your fault. Just live TV. I would like to very much thank Dexter and Gamer Valine for joining us tonight. Thank you guys for coming on.
You're very welcome.
And also Lord Lucifer for just being a cat.
He appreciates your welcome.
Everyone, remember you can find us tomorrow night on Satsu's channel at 6 p.m. Pacific, 9 p.m. Eastern for the next Lords of the Night, where scheduled guest is Bluntly Blondie. Might be someone along with her. Not sure yet. Still wait to get a confirmation from someone. We shall see. But either way, everyone, thank you so much for attending. Thank you so much, moderators, for keeping an eye on things. Even though everyone here is so well behaved, you have very little to do. Everyone who donated, thank you so much for your generosity. I really do appreciate it. Again, Dexter, Gamer Valine, thank you for joining us. Satsu, thank you for joining me as always.
This bitch was getting $1,000 donations for this.
What the
fuck? Everyone, that lady's life makes us sad. And we will see you tomorrow.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Fuck, dude.
Got my copy of Screw the Roses, Send Me the Thorns, The Romance and Sexual Sorcery of Sadomasochism.
Sadomasochism? Man, what the fuck?
Today's secret word is dramatic.
Oh, my.
So, yes, apparently everything's dramatic. Like my
That's
head
his reaction.
And my brain wanted to escape my skull.